Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have recently added a brand new indicator to the TrendSpider platform called the TW Pivot. That TW stands for Theta Warrior, and he is with us today to talk us through the indicator, how he uses it, his favorite ways to find different setups using it, and all that sort of stuff. So, Theta, thank you so much for being here today. Really, really excited to learn about this indicator from you.
Jason, thank you. I really appreciate it. This is awesome. This is like a dream come true for me to have a custom indicator in TrendSpider, and I'm really, really excited about this. And let's jump right into it. So the first thing, of course, we're going to want to add the indicator. We can quickly find it. Just type in TW, click on it one time, and then all the defaults should be good to go, just the way you'd want them. And you'll see that we now have the indicator at the bottom of our screen. So basically, I've looked at charts, studied charts for thousands of hours, and I've been trying to find, a method or a model or something that would kind of help me to predict when I should, buy the dip or, sell the rip, when I should be looking to take profits on a bull run, things like that. So this indicator tries to achieve that. It basically revolves around the idea that all financial instruments will eventually return to the mean. So something that sells off can't sell off forever. At some point, it's going to bounce. So the true buy and sell signal with this indicator is going to be when you get these green columns that pop up. That's going to be your buy signal. And then the red column would obviously be your sell signal. So you'll see if when we kind of zoom in, it's made up of basically three different components. So you'll have bars that start to count up, they'll be red, and bars that start to count down, and they'll be green. So red, of course, signifies, potentially we're looking at a sell signal that's going to populate. Green would signify we're going to be looking at a potential buy signal that's going to populate. And the other thing you'll notice is we have an oscillator in the middle that also will flip from red to green. So basically, what we're looking for is that nice switch. So we'll have our histogram, our bars that move lower and lower and lower in green, and our oscillator is moving red, which is telling us that price is selling off, selling off. And then once it reaches that sweet spot and you get that right mathematical equation, everything all lines up, you'll get that nice buy bar signal, that column, that green column. So that shows you that the stars are aligned, that the probability is in your favor, that price is going to bounce. Of course, it's not going to work every single time. No indicator works every single time, but this can give you a really good idea of, let's say I'm short, in this sell-off right here. Well, maybe this is an area where I want to start to look to take profits when I have a reversal, potentially that's going to happen. You'll see that sometimes the histogram will start to count down or count up, and you won't get that column. That just simply means that the stars weren't perfectly aligned, so to speak. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it may not produce, or it doesn't mean that it won't produce a valid signal. So still, when I have something this far extended, I see the histogram is getting this high, I'm still going to be cautious. If I'm thinking about getting long, I may think twice. If I'm already long, I may be looking to take profits kind of in this range. You can see that it'll work on any time frame. That's the other really nice thing about it. The daily works great. We can look at any ticker. It doesn't matter. It works on cryptocurrency. It works on equities. It works on everything. So again, this would be like your perfect sell signal right there. Basically, almost nailed the top in Nvidia. We're still on the daily here. As things are flushing lower and everyone's screaming bloody murder, this signal told you to buy right here. So you caught this dip right up here. So you'll see that it won't give you a ton of signals, which is good because we only want quality signals. So I like to look at it a lot on the daily. I'll also look at it on the 5-minute. Again, this is an example of when it didn't work. Not all indicators are going to work 100% of the time. But the nice thing about this indicator, and we'll zoom in here, so it gave you the sell, right? So it told you to sell right here. But you'll notice the oscillator in the middle will go from green, and then it will go to red. That's signifying the sell. And then it quickly goes back to green. So when that happens, that's the indicator basically telling you that it was wrong, that you should get out, right? If it goes back to green, especially if it takes out that high, then we were in theory going to be shorting. You definitely want to look to exit the position. So the nice thing is, even when it's wrong, it'll tell you pretty quickly, right? You're going to know by the next candle that you should be out of this trade. Um, Definitely a really powerful. I think that hopefully people find it easy to use, and it's kind of my way of giving back to the trading community, which has done so much for me and given me the life that I have. I'm a really passionate chartist, and this is something that I think is really cool, and I'm confident that other people are going to think is really cool and use, and hopefully make money after using it.
For sure, man. This seems really cool. A first question that I have, there are some places where the histogram pauses and there is no histogram. What should we be thinking about those areas?
So basically, you would think of them as an extension of the previous histogram that already occurred. So in this example right here, you have your histogram that is continuing to climb, and you'll see that price is still moving higher as well. So you didn't get the sell signal, which because the stars weren't aligned, which is good because you wouldn't want to sell right here because price kept climbing.
Right.
But you can look at these areas of gaps as the price is continuing to be extended. As we know, sometimes price will do that, but eventually it will revert to the mean.
Got it. And what's the significance of the two horizontal white lines?
The two horizontal lines are basically what the oscillator will use to confirm or deny a signal. Basically, the oscillator and the histogram need to be in perfect conjunction in order for a signal to be sent. So these lines right here, they have to do with standard deviation plus 1.5 standard deviation and
Got it.
minus 1.5 standard deviation. Again, it's like you think about it with a Bollinger Band. Eventually the Bollinger Band, you will always have a reversion to the mean. This is not based off of Bollinger Bands, but it has the same concept in mind. Whether or not your Bollinger Bands are going to rise with price or price is going to fall down to it, eventually it's going to get there.
Got it. And inside of the indicator, of course, you have some editable criteria there. I see that the nine, I'm assuming that's a moving average. Is that right?
No, it actually has to do with this histogram. But
Oh, okay.
you can certainly tweak any of these. I have it set up where it's perfect in my mind,
Okay.
exactly what you want to be looking at. I don't change any of these.
Okay.
So again, it comes down to each individual person. There's probably people that will figure out different ways to use this that I haven't even thought of, and that's great. That's the whole point of this, right?
Right.
But
For sure.
the thing I love about this indicator, and for me it helps. I like to look at it with just white candles because I'm just focusing on the indicator here. So, for example, this was today. Microsoft. We're looking at the 5-minute chart. We had somewhat of like a bull flag that formed. Price started to take out these lows. It certainly lost this uptrend line. Your conventional thinking would be to probably short this move, right? Well, the indicator is telling you that this is the time to buy. So
Mhm.
it goes against what, most people would probably think to do. And look at that. It caught a really, really nice rip on the way up. And the same thing, this is actually a trade that I took today. Was I bought the SPY right in here, 375 call. And you can see it didn't quite get all the way down to give me that nice green bar, but it did get very close. And I could see that it was starting to pivot. And when I have a stock like Microsoft, which obviously is a big component in the S&P, giving me that buy signal, you could take the SPY, you could take the Microsoft, it's almost the same trade. So when I have other names like this that are confirming, that's the enough confirmation in my mind to take the position.
Right. And what's interesting here is Microsoft has been such a laggard, specifically the past couple days. Interesting to
Right,
see it kind of gaining even more so than Spy did.
right. Another really cool one, and we'll switch to the 15-minute chart, was Costco. So this was an insane run that occurred today. And, the signal didn't quite catch the low, that's for sure. It actually gave you the perfect buy signal right here, the TW pivot right there. But you can see that you would have been stopped out on your long pretty quickly, and immediately it started to already form another buy signal. So you knew kind of in this range, the indicator is trying to tell you that there is going to be a buy on the near horizon. And the way I would have played this, I didn't trade this today, but the way I would have traded it is once it reclaims that level that it originally gave the buy signal at, that's where you'd get long. So, this kind of range, this little consolidation resistance break, that's where you'd get in right there. So
Got it. Interesting.
can be very, very powerful. And then one more thing I'll mention here. Um, we'll just look at the SPY really quickly. So this works great in a choppy market, which is so perfect because that's kind of what we have right now. Ignore all my drawings here, but you'll notice that if we look back at like the bull run of 2020, 2021, there was not a lot of buy signals, and that's simply because we were in an uptrend. So the signal then can be used as an area to look to take profits. So we know we want to be long in an uptrend, but we also know that there's going to be pullbacks along the way. So this area right here where the signal is telling you to sell, maybe that's an area to take profits on your longs. If you're a quick scalper, you can certainly take a quick short right there. You can see we got a pullback right off that high. This one right there, we got a little pullback off that high. Let me fix that. You can see that actually did get a pretty nice pullback.
Mm-hmm.
So keep that in mind. With the market that we have this year, which is a lot more up and down, this indicator is perfect for it. It is going to thrive in an environment like this. Like, look at, this
Interesting.
was the buy right here. This was a buy signal. This was a buy signal. This was very close to a sell signal,
Uh-huh.
but it didn't. All the stars didn't align. But you can see it was the day before the top actually hit right there. So it's
And
pretty
you said,
remarkable.
yeah, it is. And you said that there is not a preferred time frame for this.
Any time frame. Any time frame. I use it mostly with the daily, the 5 minute, and the 15 minute because that's what I like to trade. I know some guys out there, some girls out there prefer the 1 minute, the 30 minute. That's totally fine. It's a mathematical equation, so it works on every time frame. It doesn't matter. It just simply counts, the amount of candles that precede it, basically.
Got it. Right on, Theta. Well, this is really exciting. I can't wait to dig into this indicator myself. I'm already thinking about different scan ideas that I can come up with.
Yes, I'm excited to see what you and the rest of the community comes up with as well. I mean, this is kind of like my baby. We've given birth to it, and we're going to set it out into the world, and we're going to see what happens. And I'm excited to see people use this and figure out different, ways to make money off of it that maybe I haven't even thought of. So, again, big thank you to TrendSpider for giving me this opportunity and helping me create this. Don't think I'm a coder. TrendSpider did all the coding and everything and made this happen today. So really, really thankful. And again, just extremely excited.
Awesome, Theta. We are thankful for your knowledge and happy to have this cool new indicator on the platform. And we'll definitely be giving you some feedback, as soon as we start hearing from some customers about how they're using it. And I'll definitely be using it myself. So this is exciting.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again very much.
Absolutely, man. You have a good rest of your day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, sounds good.